I'm Dana, creator of the Sleep Sense program, and today we're going to talk about toddler aggression. Why is my toddler so aggressive? This happens. I can even remember it with my own children that there's a period in time where children act out aggressively. And so I'm going to give you a few reasons why they might be doing it and then how we can course correct the behavior if it's showing up too often. I always like to encourage people to look at some of the root causes for behavior. And when we're talking about aggression, often a root cause for that behavior is fatigue, is sleep deprivation. Think about it. When you're sleep deprived, when you haven't slept well, how easy is it for you to handle your emotions? How easy is it for you not to fly off the handle if somebody cuts you off in traffic or, get furious with shoes on the floor, all the things that happen in a life that can be annoying? Aren't they even more annoying when you're tired? Same is true for little ones. In fact, amplify that by like times 10. Okay, so however you're feeling, your child's feeling it even more severely. So the first thing to do would be to look at your child's sleep schedule. Are they sleeping through the night? Are they still taking decent naps during the day? If they are not, that is step one. That is problem solving step one. Get a copy of the Sleep Sense program, teach this little person how to sleep well, and you'll see a dramatic resolution to this aggression issue. And I mean, we won't erase it completely, but you'll notice a dramatic decline in aggressive behavior if a child is well rested. Another root cause can be hunger. Toddler tummies, they don't have a lot of space and they get empty pretty quickly. So I always recommend that every 2 hours you be giving a meal or a snack to a toddler to keep them at a hanger. When you're hungry, you start getting hangry. We call it hangry. That can happen to toddlers too, and where hangry might show up is in aggressive behavior, hitting or slapping or biting or kicking. Can show up when a child's feeling hangry. So check into that. And then the thing that sometimes gets overlooked is attention. Could your child be doing this for attention? Did you just have a new baby, for example, and you've noticed aggressive behavior showing up? Did you just go back to work? Did you get a divorce? Does he start a daycare? Has there been something that's happened in the child's life that they could be craving some attention? And this is, we think logically that one doesn't make sense, because why would he's going to get in trouble, or she's going to get in trouble, she's going to have a timeout because of this, I'm going to get angry with her because of it. But attention is attention, and I find that a lot of children will do negative behavior in an attempt to get attention. So you need to have a good look at that too. And a great way to solve the problem, if it is attention, is carve out dedicated attention time with your toddler or your preschooler every day. I love it at bedtime because I think that you got to do a bedtime routine anyway. So why don't we put a few steps in there that are kind of fun and engaging for the two of us, like reading stories or, doing some coloring before bed or playing with blocks or whatever the activity is that you do with your toddler or your preschooler. No phones, no screens, just you and your child. And 20 minutes a day can make a world of difference. So consider that. How can we make some positive attention? And even throughout your day, just really recognizing your child when they are behaving well. Give them lots of positive reinforcement about the behaviors you want to show up, and a little less around the behaviors that you don't want to show up, so that we're kind of like putting the attention in the right direction, so to speak. So those are the root causes of aggressive behavior. And when it shows up, we need to make it very clear that that kind of behavior is not okay. It's a non-negotiable. If you hit a child, then you're going for an automatic timeout. Usually I tell you give a warning first, but I don't think if you hit somebody else or you bite another child or you kick me, you're going for a timeout. That is not acceptable behavior. We do not handle our emotions that way. you will be going for a timeout. And I have lots of advice on how the do's and don'ts of timeouts. So make sure you search for that in my blog so that you're doing it correctly. But yeah, we really need to nip this quickly in the bud so that this child doesn't start to understand that this kind of behavior is a great way to get what he or she wants. If the aggression is coming out to other children, some advice around that is to give lots of attention to the other child, the child that's been victimized, the child that's been hurt in this scenario. And then your child starts to understand that, oh, I don't actually get a lot of attention when I do this. In fact, she's getting way more attention than I am. And that can kind of help curb it as you're also doing these other, management strategies to keep aggressive behavior to a minimum. All right. Thanks so much for watching today. Sleep well.